Step into video game land. Welcome to Fine Time.
Hello, party people. It's your boy, Dre. I am here with my boy, Steve.
I'll keep quiet for a while.
And I'm here with my boy, Kevin.
I don't know what to do after that.
See, this is always a dilemma, right? Like, we never.
I'm ready to just give like a nice jovial intro, and then Steve says something, and that I don't, it just throws me off my game.
Steve says something. It's called podcasting.
Wow. We need to
you better like
sit
it,
quietly, talk in flat tones, no joking, no fucking around.
No.
Here is some news about video games.
Yeah, this is practically going to be NPR with the video games.
Welcome to our 7-part series about the up button.
Do you remember the fake NPR skit on SNL in the 90s? Do you remember that one? It was like Anna Gasteyer, and like sometimes they have a guest. I remember when John Goodman was hosting, he was on that, whatever that skit was, and it was so dry and boring that it was funny. Like, obviously that's the point. It was like really, just NPR dry.
I understand it, but I've never seen it.
Yeah. All right. I guess no more delaying it. Everyone knows what we're here to talk about today. We're here to talk about StarFox. I have a feeling I'm about to get mad at you guys today over this game, so I'm just letting the audience know ahead of time that I might be... I don't know. Maybe I'll be nice and calm throughout this. I don't know, Steve. We'll see.
I don't know. All you have to do is have the right opinion for once.
I don't know, Kevin. I feel like we're already like... I can feel it. I feel myself getting mad in advance.
Yeah, I think this is gonna be a little bit more of a you versus Steve, because I'm very much pro StarFox, but I think I'm just coming at it from a different perspective.
As usual, Kevin's throwing me to the wolves.
The wolf.
It's fine. I know how to deal with this, Kevin. You just sit back in Canada and have a Molson or whatever it is.
Unlike you two, I didn't get a Nintendo 64 growing up, so I'm just not as like intimately familiar with this. Obviously, I played this at friends' houses and my cousins' houses. I played it on 3DS when the 3D version came out, and I got it like on N64 as an adult, but I didn't spend 400 hours playing StarFox on N64 as a kid. So I think I'm probably just looking at it, slightly differently.
And that's good. That is valuable intel, because obviously me and Steve are in the shit, shall we say. So, like, it's, having someone who isn't as... well, I don't know. If you had the 3DS version, I feel like... and you probably played it a bunch, right? I mean, I feel like I
think the 3DS version was the first time that I sat down and, like, did all, like, easy, medium, and difficult paths, right? Where I went through and, like, actually did everything. I mean, but I also didn't, I didn't just like sit there and play that over and over. StarFox is more of a thing to me. And I think the same with this one, where it's, it's going to come out. I'm going to play it. I'm going to, get all I can out of it. And then it's just like, it's a game that's fun to periodically go back and revisit it. But I think even now, I've done all of the runs on modern StarFox. I'm probably not going to be picking this up like regularly over the next 2 weeks.
No,
in 4 months from now, I will get a wild hair up my ass and decide I want to play StarFox again.
Yeah, you're not... I mean, look, it's a different time. I spent what felt like the entirety of the summer of 1997 just playing StarFox 64, and Secret of Mana, by the way, for some reason. I decided that's when I was going to finally beat that game.
You didn't find time to play some GoldenEye 007?
Hell no. I remember I went to a friend's house and they rented it and we played it and I thought it was fun enough, but it was never anything I ever wanted to buy. I thought it was cool that he like bungee jumps into a dam or whatever in the first level. I thought that was cool. But that's about all I remember now.
Just like in the movie. Wow.
With tons of N64 fog.
No, StarFox 64 was the winner from 1997.
For sure.
Don't at me, Final Fantasy VII people.
Oh, please. I thought we were just talking N64. Star Fox 64 still clears that, though. Okay, yeah, I don't think breaking down Star Fox 64 as an actual game is really interesting at this point in time. Like, everyone's played it. Everyone knows it. So I'd rather just kind of get down to the nitty gritty of like this remake and differences from the original and stuff. Unless anyone has anything particularly novel to say about like Star Fox 64 as a game.
I will agree with you, and what may be the only time I do in this segment, because it's hard to reevaluate or evaluate this kind of remake. Me and Kevin ran into this problem with the Super Mario RPG remake a few years ago, where our Piazza nailed it every fucking step of the way, but others, mostly Kevin, have it so ingrained what already exists in their head so much that, you can't ignore it. And, Star Fox 64 is universally, and yes, I'm going to go ahead and speak for everyone at home this time. Go fuck yourselves. Acclaimed game that's available on the Classics app, and it didn't need a remake, but I've asserted previously that if they're really testing the water for new Star Fox, this needed to happen, because if we look at things like Kid Icarus Uprising and Golden Sun Dark Dawn, that's a good way to fuck shit up if you just stroll in with a sequel. It's still a great game, but we'll get into the nitty gritty ish parts of it.
I don't think I can. You're telling me if they just made like a new Star Fox game instead of doing this would have been fucky? Like because I just don't agree. Because we're in the shit. You said it yourself, but if they want to get a new audience of the younger children, they gotta wow them with a new old thing called Star Fox and not Star Fox 64.
Why would you call it Star Fox 64?
Because that's what it's a fucking remake of, maybe.
Although, okay, you want to know why they really did that? I pieced it together the other day, because it wasn't called that everywhere, because we still got to deal with fucking Europe, who had to call it the Lilac Wars.
That's right. I do remember that.
So now that they got their shit together, we get to call it Star Fox everywhere.
We should have just split the difference and called it Star Wing. That's what we should have done.
That's a good way to unite everybody together.
Oh my god. Here's something that's unusual for me, and I feel like this is worth mentioning. I played Star Fox almost exclusively handheld or tabletop mode. I don't think I played this on the TV for like a couple levels, and that's it. That is extremely unusual for me, because I think everyone knows I play Switch 2 or Switch for that matter over the years. Pretty much like, 80% of the time on the TV. The only time I really don't play it on the TV is when I'm at work and I want to play something on break, or if I'm, chilling at Starbucks, I'm going to be somewhere, I take it with me and I'm sitting there playing for a little bit. This was different. I just felt compelled for some reason to just take this into bed and make love to it and just play in bed or just play at work for a little bit. I don't know why I felt like doing that, but I did. It just felt like Star Fox was a handheld game for me.
Which is weird, because my first run was TV only, because my life somehow dictates that this portable thing be portable, and god damn it, but I managed to get an entire run on the television. Oh my god, it looks and runs great on both modes, really, and it's so fucking smooth.
This is something I've wanted for forever, basically. A full-ass Star Fox game that's 60 frames a second. I've been wanting it because, as you well know, there are segments in Star Fox Adventures or Star Fox Assault where you get to use the R-Wing, and those are 60 frames a second, but that's not the whole game. That's just like a little taste. And in the case of like Star Fox Adventures, those are like nothing. Those are like barely a... God, remember the last boss where you just all of a sudden hop in the R-Wing and shoot Andros a couple times and then the game's over? Like, what the hell happened?
God.
That couldn't have been what they wanted to do, right? There's no way.
That's not what anyone wanted to do. Well, and we know that, but
yeah. But outside of those little teases from over 20 years ago, this is the first time we've gotten a StarFox game fully at 60 frames. I think I mentioned this before. I think whether it's a mailbag or maybe just a random segment we did, I've said that my dream remake is actually the original StarFox with the same graphics, same polygonal ass, like no textures graphics at like 4K or 8K or whatever, 120 frames a second, like the maximum whatever we can do on the system that we have at this time. Now it's Switch 2, fully tricked out. And I've always wanted something like that. Now, obviously, this StarFox game isn't that, the StarFox 64 remake, but god damn it, this looks incredible. I think, you know what struck me immediately, and I feel like you guys will agree with me on this, Corneria. In the original game, that's like you're doing a flyby. Yeah, it's ruined, but it's like, here is this green, lush planet with a couple things knocked over. Now you're flying through Corneria, and that shit looks chaotic. It's not only fucked up because of like everything's like, but there's like tons of smoke. There's like things are on fire. There's all sorts of things happening now as you're flying through Corneria. It may as well, like, it's so visually different that I was kind of taken aback by this. It's a lot more visually different than you would expect when you're flying in over the water. And then you just get into there and it's like, whoa, what is happening? It feels chaotic and fucked.
Are you think in a good way or in a bad way? A good
no,
way?
Good way. Good way. Good way. I think basically all the visuals in this game to me are absolutely incredible. This is an incredible looking game. I know there are people who have some issues with the way it looks or the character redesigns, and I just don't agree with them. I think every aspect of this game visually is insane, Steve.
See, I feel like the overall mission, I get it, because it's StarFox, of the remake, beyond market research, was to take this iteration of the game and flesh it out as much as they possibly could. And in that regard, I'd say they succeeded. You just brought up what you did about Corneria, but look, we all know StarFox 64's banner between Fox and the Wingmen is iconic. Much has been said about voice acting. I'm going to say my own thing about voice acting later. Sit tight. But I feel like they tried to build out what they could overall. I mean, what's going on? Team StarFox is an untested paramilitary group that's thrust on a high-stakes mission. So the game starts on a mandatory training segment, which we all know I love those so fucking much.
I skipped it.
You could skip it. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
That's really more used to express how dysfunctional the group is. I became very on board with this dynamic. Yes, we at home know that Falco's the hotshot, Peppy's the mentor, and Slippy's the engineer that keeps getting shot at. But between new dialogue getting slipped in and longer cutscenes, we get to see them gradually become a more cohesive whole as the game goes, no matter what path you take. Team StarFox becomes, for new audiences, what we've seen the whole time, with more connective tissue. Oh man, that thing you wanted from Mario Galaxy, they took it out of that and they put it into this.
There is connective tissue here. I'll give it that.
Although I will bring up one thing they should have did right now, and that is, I kind of wish they made a second Titania world so they can so this team at Velen could have got their level making shots in, because if you finish Sector X, but without Slippy getting smacked to Titania, you can't go to Titania. This isn't StarFox 64 where, fuck it, we'll go there. You got to follow the story along. So you either got to replay the level or do that. What I would have liked is you're watching them plan out all these paths and getting egged on by Falco or whatever else. I would have loved Fox, we've got more weird activity going on Titania. We've seen nothing like this before. Be careful if you go there. I don't know. I would have liked that. But other than that, I feel like they nailed this whole thing down.
Kevin, how did you, let's go to you next. How did you feel about the new cutscene stuff in between levels, just because you're less in the shit than we are?
Yeah, I mean, I could kind of take it or leave it. I think they were well done. I don't know that I needed that in that kind of game. I think it's cool they did them. I watched them and it was a thing. It was just maybe kind of there for me. But I think I also, yeah, with that context that, in general, a lot of times I'm not going to appreciate that like somebody else. Well, it doesn't bother me that it's there. And they're certainly not invasive enough that I would have skipped them just to get through. But I mean, I think I spent a lot of time during that rather than focusing on the cutscenes. Just like I found it very funny how these character models like do look like the like anthropomorphic animal key art from the original Super Nintendo game, like very close. And I spent a lot of time thinking about how this probably was very offhand at the time. Some guys in a boardroom being like, okay, animals and they fly ships. What animals? Fox, bird, frog, rabbit. Sure. Put it in there. I don't think they like thought about the enduring legacy of 30 years and recreating these in like HD. Which
Yeah, I'm kind of glad they went that direction though, with the like it kind of looks like the original puppets, because like the portraits and stuff in StarFox 64 are like pre-renders, and I feel like if they had like chased that would be a very different looking game. It'd probably be a game I still like looking at, but it would be very different. This they made the right choice here. I love the way the characters look in the cutscenes and like in the comms, Steve.
Yeah, I'm just about I've told all you people I'm in this no matter what's going on, and a lot of it is tied to the C grade sci-fi, and I love the shit out of pouring through what I could on the Holo Viewer. Just a wealth of lore pull from other materials like guides or comics, like just flushes everything out that much further. Great Fox was bought by James McLeod on an 80-year payment plan. I mean, holy shit, guys! No matter Pigment turned on your ass.
80 years.
And if we remember what happens in Star Fox Assault, holy shit.
Hold on. So does this imply that like people, like animals in the Star Fox universe live for like 500 years or some shit? Because like...
I don't know, but I'm getting more and more suspicious of that Space Dynamics raccoon guy that was in the intro. In the past, he didn't even have a voice. Now he's like, hey, fly your R-Wing and do this, fly your R-Wing and do that. And he's like in the background, like making very irresponsible loans for people to pay off. That's probably offsetting all these conflicts.
Yeah, it's I like that I go back and forth in it. I'm with Kevin about like the cutscenes. It's like I don't think they're invasive. I don't think they're dumb or anything. I didn't want to skip them. At the same time, rail shooters to me, and this is just the arcade person in me, are about immediacy, right? I don't really want a whole lot of stuff in between each level. So I guess you can just skip them, but they're also good. So it's tough. I go back and forth on it. I probably, after I've seen one, I don't watch it again. I just skip it. Mm-hmm. I'm not going to watch them multiple times unless I'm like someone's watching and they want to see the game or something like that. And it's like a demonstration or something like that. Or if it's been a while since I played, I might want to look at them. Other than that, I want to get to the next goddamn level.
I'll be fair and say even I skipped it after a few loops or whatever, because I did clear all the routes eventually. I need that when next time I play, it's going to be on hard mode. So I didn't watch everything every time.
I need to nitpick the visuals a little bit. And I think again, they are nitpicks, but to me, they are important. I think to most people, they would be pretty nitpicky. When you do a barrel roll to deflect incoming fire, they don't like bounce off you or reflect anymore. They just kind of like disappear. It was so cool before because the lasers go, they would just go all over the place, but, and with these new graphics and this new lighting model and everything, I would have loved to have seen like cool little particle effects or other like sort of like transparency, like lasers come at you going ping off of your ship. But this game just doesn't have that. And I think I think that kind of sucks. I feel like that's kind of part of the visual makeup of Star Fox 64.
I noticed that too, and I just can't help but wonder if it was just too noisy when they were doing it. I'm sure it could handle it.
I don't know what happened.
That's interesting you guys bring that up, because I did not notice that. And I didn't even like realize I was having this thought, but I did feel while I was playing, like there was a lack of like feedback when you're doing a barrel roll that you're not taking damage. You know, that's something I think I like more subconsciously notice. And now that you mention it, you know, 100% that would have been, you know, just having that visual indication and, you know, like satisfaction of like, this is why I'm doing it would have went somewhere.
Lack of feedback is a huge problem in this game. Spoiler for later, but yeah, I definitely agree with that. The other visual thing that bothered me is that I think the bombs look kind of weak. Like, think about the original StarFox and SNES. That thing was like a goddamn nuke, right? That's like it's like this huge thing. And the StarFox 64 is not quite like that because they want the visual clarity. But like in this, it's just like, here's a little starburst, poof, and then they like die. I don't know. I just don't think that's like nearly as satisfying. I don't like the way it looks.
I feel like the poof is maybe underselling it slightly, little over dramatic.
I
don't know, man.
I also feel like if you're going for that sort of spectacle, the Super NES bomb was the satisfactory one, and they've all been kind of lacking ever since.
Yeah, but this is just like, this isn't even as good as the original StarFox 64. It's just kind of like,
which again makes me ask, with when they were testing it, were people complaining that it was hard to see?
who cares if it's hard to see? It looks fucking cool.
Yeah, but we're trying to score points.
I don't give a shit. I want a cool looking bomb.
we gotta get them medals.
Also, like some of the, not just the bomb explosions, some of the boss explosions too weren't the same. Like, you know, one of the best things is like when you take the alternate route on Corneria and you fight the remake of the first original StarFox SNES boss, and it's just like, you'll never defeat Andros, and he falls in the thing and explodes. Now he just kind of falls in there and a couple things would kind of go poof off his ship, and then like that's it. It's not the same at all. Some of the boss deaths were not very satisfying to me.
I thought that one was fine. What got me, where I feel like they failed, was the alternate Macbeth win condition. You know the one. I can't stop it! Plus 50. Where as soon as you shoot that last lock, they give you the plus 50. I'm like, oh, that's not nice. I want to see him run into the center, and then you get the plus 50.
Yeah, I noticed that too. And again, I know people who are listening to this and are not Star Fox people will think this is like ridiculously nitpicky, and maybe it is, but the whole problem with this remake is that they're trying to improve upon something that didn't need improving. You can only go down. You can only go down. That's the problem. So it's tough because if you slip up anywhere, it's going to stand out like crazy. And one place where they stand out like crazy is the voice acting. And that was like my big concern going into this when they unveiled it, because it's pretty much impossible to do better than the original Star Fox 64. It is the most quotable and memorable voice lines of all time. You can't fuck with it. Like, I just think that's just a fact. But this game decided to fuck with them, and the inevitable happened. They're just not as good as the original. All of it. Can't let you do that, Star Fox. You'll never defeat Andros, the one I said earlier. Or even just never give up. Trust your instincts. None of them are as good as the original reads. And they can't be. Like, you cannot do better than that. So there are a couple exceptions. Like, I forget what boss it is. I can't believe I lost to this scum. I like that read better, actually. But other than that, like 9 times out of 10, the N64 game wins. And it wins by a lot. And quite frankly, Rob 64's voice straight up sucks. That's awful. Like, if I'm gonna pick on any voice in this game, it's that one. That one is just terrible. All the rest of them are fine, but we already had a game that was much better than fine. So this is a losing proposition here.
I don't want to like argue against that, because again, I am looking at it from a different perspective, but I also don't know that like the right way to look at this is like, and I understand why, you can't help but compare it to Star Fox 64, obviously. I mean, I get, but from my perspective, I don't know that they needed to improve it, or that was even necessarily the intent. The entire time I played this, it was just very like, this is super fun. It looks great. It runs great. The music is awesome. It's a very enjoyable, excellent time, right? And so I think I'm just very appreciative that I'm not in that position where I am feeling like I'm looking at it through that constantly comparative lens. I was able to just enjoy my time without that. And again, I'm not like saying you're wrong, or I'm not faulting you, because I think it would be really hard for you to not look at it through that lens. But I don't know that I don't think they took Star Fox 64 and they're like, that game is old and shitty and we're going to like improve on it in every way. I don't know that was necessarily. I mean, I almost think about like, we talk about like Metroid Prime Remastered. That's obviously a very like different comparison, but I don't think Metroid Prime Remastered takes away anything of how good the original Metroid Prime, like, the GameCube version of that game was.
No, because that's just a one-to-one remake, right? But this isn't exactly that. So
yeah, and I get why this is not apples to oranges, but I think of them more in the same sense like that, where I could enjoy these two things distinctly, and be appreciative of just like both versions very much so.
Well, I mean, I can as well to a degree. It's just that like when you come so close to being the same thing, but you're not the same thing, that's when you really get into. So like, I think a good comparison for me is like Resident Evil 2002, like GameCube. That's totally, it's not completely different from the original Resident Evil, but it's different enough where I consider those things two different games. Those are not the same game. I either feel like playing the PS1 game or the GameCube game. Those are two different experiences to me, even though one's a remake of the other. They're not the same thing. Now, but then the gulf can widen, right? If we're talking about like Resident Evil 2 and Resident Evil 2 Remake from 2019, those are like worlds apart, right? 96 and 2002 Resident Evil are not worlds apart, but they're enough where I consider them two different games. It's tough for me to consider StarFox 2026 worlds apart from StarFox 64 to the point where I'm like, these are two so different things that I have to, like, I either feel like playing one or the other. They're not that far apart for me. I hope that made sense to everyone listening. Steve, that makes sense.
Look, it makes sense because I have mixed feelings on the voice acting. Big fucking shock. The guy with the voice has mixed feelings on the voices. It's a fucking mixed bag. I implied earlier that based on the whole team dynamic thing I brought up before, that I think the main four were 100% nailed, especially Falco. Yes, us Italian New Yorker types claim Falco is a paisan. I mean, absolutely. The bluster is, because his real name is something like Florence, and he's, we got to put on the biggest front in the galaxy to keep that a secret from everyone else. What are we talking about again?
Florence anyway, Leonardo Guido.
Yeah. This leads into that stuff, a bit of what you were talking about earlier, the bosses, and, a lot of varying performances there. And I think I get the intent of what they wanted to do there. This game is campy as fuck. A good thing. And a campy game like this is going to have one-note bosses. And I don't want them to change that for a second. But when you play Star Fox 64, there's no doubt that they're all mostly the same note. So I think they were trying to employ different cadences to, try and make them feel a bit more distinct from each other while still having them be villains of the day. And you get these varying results. Like Sector Y Shogun pilot becomes an honorable samurai type, and it works even if we lose cocky little freaks. And you'd never notice these changes if you're new. But, you already brought it up. All of us of a certain age just expected certain things, and I already brought up how the Forever Train engineer felt a little flat.
Very flat to me.
And I'm not sure what was going on with the Sector 6 guys either.
I don't know, man. And here's the thing. Even if he said cocky little freaks, it wouldn't be as good as StarFox 64. So that's I think that's what I want. As I was like exploring my feelings on this throughout the week, what they should have done, and I know they'll never do this, right? I know this is not reality. If I had my way, what they should have done is just had a 100% completely new script. Absolutely no lines from the original StarFox 64 whatsoever. So there can be no comparisons, and the script, the StarFox 2026 can just stand on its own as its completely own different things. Kevin, that would make them worlds apart for me. You know, that would push them super far apart. And I know that's not reality because we live in a world where we have to make everyone say, oh, they said the thing, you know, like we can't have a StarFox game where they don't say do a barrel roll now. You have to say it. But I think that would have been the move. No callbacks.
I mean, it's like an interesting thought. And yeah, that probably would have went a long ways for you guys to be, just not having the voice acting be a like front of mind thing as you're playing. That would seem to me to be a weird choice when like everything else in terms of like gameplay and mechanics and paths is so similar to be like, well, the voice or like the script is where we're really going to like deviate. And I mean, then, okay, so you say, well, why, there are other places where it would have been good for them to deviate and make this more of their own thing too. And maybe, but just to do an entirely different script seems like it would almost like that would like stick out like a sore thumb when everything else is like very much, this is StarFox 64.
Maybe you're right. It's just that like, I would have at least looked forward to like seeing what they're going to say in this level and that level. I didn't even get my Steve. Do you remember my favorite line from StarFox 64? No,
not offhand. No.
Keep shooting. We've got lots of torpedoes. I don't know why I like that so much. In Aquas,
he says it here too.
He does, but again, it's not the same. I'm not going to keep saying the same thing over and over again. I'm sorry, but it's just like it's impossible for me not to feel this way.
Kevin's got a point, though. If you're going to do a new script, make a new game.
Well, that's what I would have fucking wanted instead of this.
We all wanted it, but we got it. But we're doing market research. We're taking the thing that already exists, and we're saving some money, and we're going to see if everyone takes to it, and then we're going to move it again in a few years, like maybe 2-3 years from now. Hey guys, StarFox 2. That's not confusing. Only a handful of you bought the Super Nintendo Mini and subscribed to the online apps anyway.
I have a little bit to say about that at the end, maybe. Okay, I'm going to say one more good thing. I think the use of haptic feedback in this game is crazy. Like everything. Now, obviously, StarFox 64 came with like the rumble pack. So like you got to nail that, right? The rumble is like part of the experience of this game. And now with today's haptics, oh man, Kevin, I was feeling it. Switch 2's Joy-Cons, and again, I was mostly playing that way.
Yeah, and now I want to be like, because it was very noticeable, and I played this maybe like half handheld, half on the TV, and we already know that the Switch 2 Pro controller is really fucking good, but this game like really, really makes it sing, and not. I don't know if I even was thinking about necessarily in terms of the haptics. I just. I like early on after I started playing it, I was like, wow, I'm so glad that I'm playing it with this controller. Like this game specifically feels incredible with the Switch 2 Pro controller. So, and I'm sure obviously the haptics went a long way towards that. But I think if you haven't played it with the Pro controller, it is worth sitting and playing a couple levels to experience that way just for that reason.
I did, for sure. Yeah, I did play a couple levels on the TV, as I said, and I did use the Pro controller and not the Joy-Cons. And yeah, no, it was great. But I think it's equally as good in the Joy-Cons, Steve.
I mean, yeah, the lap I did was with the Pro controller, and then the rest of the time with Joy-Cons. Like, yep, the dream of the Rumble Pack lives on in HD Rumble 2.
So, one, they kind of shower you in extra lives in this game. There's a lot, right? Like, you earn extra lives in StarFox 64, but not like this. And also, you kind of hang on to a lot of them because if you do like a checkpoint restart or something, you don't spend a life. You just get to do it. Or if you want to retry a level, you don't have to spend a life to do that. You can just do it. So it's like, I guess.
Well, those latter points, yes, but StarFox 64 was always handing you a life for every 100 points.
Yeah. But you would also like use a lot of them in other ways. Like I said, doing restarts or whatever. So it kind of felt more balanced. This is just like, here are all the lives.
Well, yeah, if you're Kevin, if you're us, then you're ending the game with 15 lives.
Okay, I don't think I've ever had 15 hotshot. Okay, calm down. But like, yeah, I did.
This is one steep bill. Okay, I'll be good.
Thank you. I know you're so cool. You're so much better than us. God. Okay.
No, you should talk to Vin. Holy shit.
Oh my God. So here's the thing. Those extra lives might be actually good because I mentioned it earlier. The worst thing about this game is that it does have very poor feedback sometimes when you take damage, and that in turn managing what your current health is tough as a result. So anyone who's played Star Fox or Star Fox 64 knows that like when you get kind of low on health, you hear a buzzer, a certain kind of buzzer, and when you get really low, you hear like a much more urgent buzzer. Star Fox 2026 doesn't have those. So you could be really low on health and you have no indication visually or auditorially that that's happening. And that fucking sucks a lot, actually. You need that feedback in a game like this. And Star Fox really relies on that. Maybe you don't need it as much in, I don't know, Panzer Dragoon or something like that. But in this, man, Steve, even when you lose a wing, it feels kind of like, oh, okay, it's gone. I had to like look at the screen. Wait, do I still have my wing? No, I don't. Okay, I'm drifting a little bit. Okay, I got it. Like they would make it very apparent before when you'd lose that shit. Now it doesn't feel that way. I think that's really bad. I don't know what happened there, and I'm sure you're going to disagree with me.
I noticed when I lost a wing, but I also haven't lost enough lives to be complaining about what you're complaining about.
You're full of shit. You're telling me you've never been on low life and heard the buzzers. You know what I'm talking about.
I know what you're. No, I'm talking about
Mr.
this
fucking
version.
Expert over here. Well, I didn't die. Well, fuck off.
I'm talking about this version of the game. I'm like, I could have sworn I at least saw the ship smoldering when I'm on low health.
The sound, though.
Okay, I'm usually into visuals, though, so sound is helpful, but... And there is a meter.
I mean, I guess...
It's not invisible.
Yeah, I guess if you're... This is another comparison thing. I guess if you're used to that and you're expecting that, this didn't even cross my mind because I'm just like... the health bar is in the top left and I'm monitoring as I'm playing, you know. But I guess, again, if you know, in your head, you're like, I got to have that fucking sound because that's what this game is supposed to have. You know, this is another like comparison is the thief of joy thing.
I don't even look at my health until I hear the first buzzer. That's how I play Star Fox. There's no need for me to... I don't need to know what my health is until I hear that sound. And then I need to know what my health is. But if I don't hear that sound, I'm not going to look. I can't be the only one who feels this way. I know, I guess I'm the only one who feels this way on this fucking show. Stop looking at me like I'm crazy.
I'm not saying you're crazy. I'm just saying we've experienced this game in different ways.
It's really bad. You know what's also... There's other stuff that is not very telegraphed. So when you do... what's the one with Bill? The Independence Day, the ship. The hatches are open, right? He says the hatches are open like one time. And then, like, when the hatches open some more, he doesn't say on Star Fox 64, he would say the hatches are open every time they open. He doesn't do that anymore. He says it the first time, and then you have to, like, monitor that fucking thing like a hawk and see that the hatches are open or closed. Because before, every time he would say the hatches are open, I would flip a bitch and go back to the thing and start shooting at it. Now I have to like stare at it the whole time. That completely changes the complexion of the way you play that level.
I wonder if that's got to do with all the people just talking in general, because they will not shut the fuck up in that level. Fox, get this guy off of me. I got a shadow. Oh, Bulldog unit, return to base. Husky unit, go get those guys over there. Maybe there's a bunch of times where it should be the hatches are open, but there's so many other things queued up in the whatever that it skips that.
So correct me. Someone out there can correct me if I'm wrong. I feel like what would happen in the original, because it's a chatty level in the original as well, when the hatches are open, it would cut off whatever line is happening and supersede it with the hatches are open. I feel like that's what would happen.
I haven't played original Katina in a very long time.
Me too. So I don't really remember. But audio stuff like that and like feedback to the player of like what is happening around you and to you, I think is pretty poor in this remake. It doesn't ruin it by any means, but it's not great. And that alone is like the reason why I don't like this remake more than the original, despite all the audiovisual stuff. I think that stuff is extremely poor.
I hate to sound like a broken record, but is it like poor in terms of game design, or is it poor in terms of comparison? Because I think, again, like to me, I don't mean to be a dick by saying this. I'm not trying to like fucking elicit a reaction.
I know,
but I do. My like default is to say like the health bar is right there up in the top left. And I have like no intuition that I need to be hearing those sounds. So this is not even on my fucking radar. And I guess even you talking about like, well, it changes the complexion of this fight. I mean, is it necessarily like a for better or worse thing, or is it just like, this is what I am used to? I don't know. I really do think like and again, I'm not faulting you for it, because I don't think you can't do anything about it, but your like tendency to like constantly compare this to StarFox 64, which again, obviously there's a fucking reason it's getting compared to it, and I get that. But I think like that's like the root of all of your issues, and that kind of like that sucks for you.
It does. Well, here's the thing. Yes, it is. I don't know if it's necessarily good or bad. However, it's a significant gameplay change when you take away audio cues, right? So that doesn't have to be bad on the surface, but that does change the game, especially for someone like me who relied on all that stuff to play the game. If it's not there, then I have to play the game differently.
Yeah. I guess just in terms of better or worse, you're used to it. But I think, one could very much make the argument that in games where it's too invasive when your health is low and then it's going, that's fucking annoying sometimes. There are games that I've played where I'm like, fucking tone it down. I know it's low.
It's not a constant siren in StarFox or StarFox 64. It just happens again. It happens when you get kind of low on health, and it happens again when you get extremely low in health, like one more hit will kill you kind of health. Right? It just happens 2 times, really. That's it.
It's not, but there's people today that complain that Zelda makes too much noise when you're about to die.
As it fucking should, because it should be tense. You should feel like, oh shit, I am in trouble. It's supposed to be annoying. So I disagree with those people.
Yeah, I know they're wrong, but I'm just saying people think that way.
I don't even think that your teammate health was very obvious. Again, I know there's like meters on the screen, but like that kind of ties in. Maybe, I don't know, maybe I'll get some better feedback on this. I think like all range mode in general doesn't feel as great because like, and again, I haven't gone back to play the original to compare. Like the Star Wolf fight before, like if you do if you do like Venom 2, to go in there and you have to fight Star Wolf before you go fight Andross. I feel like I struggled there more than I ever have on Star Fox 64.
I feel like the wingman ship shape was never really that well telegraphed unless you were looking at, well, you could see their health meter, but it was never really well shown off in 64 either, I don't think. It's not like their ships could break or anything, have broken wings or anything like that. So they were all just kind of there until, oh no, I gotta back off. So
yeah. And it felt kind of like not But it also felt like the computer just felt like they chased you really much more aggressively than before. And then like I felt like, okay, so they're behind you, right? Then you do a U-turn or a loop-de-loop to get behind them, right? And then but then they kind of fly off before you can really shoot them. I felt like before you can kind of get your licks in before like they would fly away or something because you shot them. Now it seems like they fly away while you're still doing the turn. So it's like, it seems like really harder to shoot them. Am I wrong? I don't know. Again, it's been forever since I played StarFox 64.
The Star Wolf at the end of the game got a little smarter, but the Mooks you should have been able to do a loop and shoot down.
Yeah, sure. But I'm talking like, I don't know. It felt like kind of stringent to me. Again, this could just be a thing I haven't played in a long time, and that's fine. Also, brother, I could not do Sector X this time with the missiles. Couldn't do it. I legitimately could not do it. I could barely do it before. It's a hard level. But
I was going to say Sector Z is always heart attack times.
Oh, is Sector Z? Okay, sorry, I said Sector X.
X is where the robot may or may not send Slippy to Titania.
I don't know. I mean, again, these all feel like nitpicks, but it's just, again, we're talking about remaking one of the best rail shooters ever, one of the best Nintendo games ever, one of the most memorable ones ever. So it's, again, I just feel like you can only go down. Do you guys have anything else to say about the music or anything before I get to my final point here? I think the music in this game is insane. That is one thing that's way better than the original. Obviously, we're talking about a Nintendo 64 here, so of course it's going to be better to some degree, but the way they redid these tunes, this is the best Star Fox music I've ever heard. This is like the actual full realization of whatever they were trying to do before. Like, it's incredible, Kevin, I think.
Yeah, I mean, I think like all presentation wise, it really, and I get what you're saying about like gameplay feedback, but maybe outside of that, I think that was probably more so the point of this remake. Like, I think the music's exceptional, and I think I would say the same about the visuals.
Yeah, the music's untouchable. I can't. Well, it was untouchable on 64 too, but now it's more untouchable. So, it's kind of weird that you're talking this way, Andre, because usually you say game looks good, runs good, and it sounds great. It's a 10 out of 10. So it's weird that we're doing all this complaining here.
That's cool if it's like Romeo is a dead man, but if it's like if you're remaking Star Fox 64, man, you gotta, I don't know, you have to. Everything's gonna stand out.
I want to propose something. I think it would be worth, before next show, the three of us all going back and revisiting Star Fox 64 and then coming back to some of these points. I mean, I can feel myself through this discussion just wanting, I need to, I want to like sit down and spend some time with that directly after Star Fox, and like in terms of just reflecting on this discussion. I think it would be interesting to do.
I would love to do that, Steve.
If you want.
Yeah, no, I'm game for that. I meant to play it actually before doing the show. I just didn't have time. But because there's actually one thing I've also been wondering about, and I don't know if it's me or not. And Kevin may not be able to speak to this, but Steve, did you feel like the bosses have like no HP in this version compared to before? I know you can kind of take down some of them quickly if you get behind them and shoot them, but it felt like they died really fast.
I feel like if you have the hyper lasers, they all kind of went down fast in the 64 version too.
Yeah, but not this fast though. Maybe. I feel like this is like record fast.
I don't know. I feel like I played this game so many times. It's like, oh, they show up and like, oh, here I am. Pew, pew, pew. Oh, no, I'm dead now. Ah.
I know you're an expert. I'm sorry.
I'm not, you're an expert too, Andre. Don't be a jackass.
I'm not a fucking expert at Star Fox 64.
Did you feel about that about the Gorgon fight? Because I thought that was a fucking huge pain in the dick. That was by far the hardest part of this game.
That's one thing I really want to go back and play the original of, because of the poor feedback I talked about and all the other stuff and audio or whatever. That felt fucking terrible to play. I hated playing that boss. I never felt that way before. So that is one thing I really want to go back to Star Fox 64 and try it, because I'm like, I know it didn't feel like this. I know it.
Yeah, even on, I don't remember on 3D like feeling like that, because that part, I fucking struggled with that part. I died numerous fucking times, and I never, because of those 3 fucking arms that come out, and I have no idea like what you're supposed to do to avoid those. I felt like there was no indication, that they're okay. If it's down in this corner, it's going to swing on the bottom half of the screen. I had no fucking clue. I got hit by those things all the time, and it was entirely a crapshoot whether I was going to be hit with them or not. And that,
me too.
That was
I felt the same way.
Fucking part of that game.
And I never felt that way about that boss. It's hard. Don't get me wrong. It's like a penultimate before you get to Venom. Like, I get it. It's supposed to be a hard boss. Steve's looking at us like, you motherfuckers. You can't even fucking play the boss. Go ahead. Tell us. Go ahead. Say it. I know you want to say it.
Okay. Even if that was so, Peppy was, did you not have Peppy with you to tell you, watch out for the arms?
So, that doesn't help us. Where does it come from? Where do they come from?
They come from out of Gorgon. They
you
wiggle around.
Shut up! I don't even want to hear you. No, don't even talk. Don't even talk to me.
The arms are there. They don't just pop out of nowhere and onto the R-wing.
Fuck off. So
you are
here's
being
my
a fuck right now, Steve.
You're such a fucking asshole. So here's my final point. I'm not sure I can recommend this game to the average person over playing the original StarFox 64 on Nintendo Classics. I don't know that I can say to them, spend $50 on just this audiovisual experience, because I think just about everything else is better in the original. So it's tough for me to say, go buy this. If you already have Nintendo Switch Online, you have a better version to play. I don't think Kevin will agree with that. I will see what Steve. I mean, certainly, Kevin, you would tell people to buy this new one, though. I mean, I don't really think of this in terms of like there is a better version. There is a better version. These are kind of like, 2 different flavors of. Like, I don't know. I don't think if somebody said I'm interested in playing this, I'd be like, well, there's no fucking point. Just go play the N64 version if you've got, if you're paying for Nintendo Switch Online. But yeah, I don't know. I don't know. Stop yelling at me.
I feel like we're talking about 2 different kinds of chocolate ice cream, right? We like chocolate ice cream. It's just which kind of chocolate ice cream are you gonna like better? And someone that's never played a Star Fox game before might be better off playing this one. But if you've played the Star Fox 64 game a bazillion times before, maybe you are just better off playing it a bazillion and 1th time. I'm saying to the person who doesn't know shit from shit. I'm saying to someone who hasn't ever played this before. The person who doesn't know shit from shit is going to look at them blocky graphics and say, wait, this looks nicer? And go for that. I think some people will, sure. I'm just saying, I loaded all those apps onto my niece's Switch Lite, and her parents play more of those than she does. Okay. I just don't know if I could just say to Joe Schmo gamer, like, definitely go out and buy this instead of just playing it on the service that you already have. It just seems like I don't want to say a bad value proposition. It just feels like if you're a Star Fox 64 freak, absolutely play this. There's no doubt you should play this just to see it and hear it. But otherwise, I'm not so sure. All right, should we go home? Is that it? Should we even have the rest of the show? Or
So it's less contentious than I expected, and it's just sad now.
Okay, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to make you sad about
it. Was only less contentious because he wasn't actually fighting with you.
Yeah, the dickhead over here telling me about, just dodge the arms.
Steve, you're fucking Gorgon while it was saying where
if you had Peppy with you, he would have told you to look out for the arms.
If I have Peppy, that is very load bearing. If I have Peppy.
Why aren't you saving Peppy?
Okay, I'm sorry. I didn't save him from the 17 fucking things on whatever I was doing before. And he's just like, where is my backup? Bitch, I have no idea where you are because this game has terrible feedback. Anyway, I'm done talking about Star Fox 2026. Okay? I don't even want to, you know what? I don't want to take a shower. I'm too verklempt. I don't want to take a shower. We'll be right back.
Fine time. Broadcasting worldwide.
All right, we're back. I'm a little more calm, but not really. I'm still hot. I'm running hot, but that's okay. I'll get over it someday.
Everybody stinks. No shower.
Yeah, fuck it. Shower's broken.
Muggies, fuck your. I'm surprised we're not allowed to take a shower.
No.
Salty ass on
this is your punishment for being a dick earlier. So let's talk about.
Just be good at the 60 FPS shooters as you always say you are, Andre.
I'm sorry. I don't know where the fucking arms are coming from at any given moment because the game has shitty ass fucking feedback. I'm fucking sorry. Okay, goddamn. I hope I hope I get to that boss in StarFox 64 and it mops the fucking floor with this remake, and then I can really shit on it and shit on you, and then you'll really take a shower because you've been shit on.
Well, I feel like you already have an implicit bias, and you'll say it mops the floor with the remake no matter what. But why don't we go on with the next topic?
Yeah. Why don't we, Steve? Why don't we? Okay. I don't know why I got so sassy just there.
Because you're the show leader and you make these decisions.
Yeah. Let's talk about the Splatoon Raiders Direct. I don't know if we have a whole lot to say. That happened, about a week ago at this point? I just wanted to touch on it because usually Nintendo directs about a particular game are usually not that exciting. They're just kind of like, well, here's a big commercial for something that you already know that you want. Or maybe if you don't know that you want, maybe it'll get you into it, which I guess is the real point of that direct. But we already knew that we wanted this. So I just kind of watched this out of curiosity. I thought the approach was a bit strange, right? Like they really went out of their way to over-explain a roguelike without using the word roguelike. Like I feel like the people who watch directs are a lot more savvy than your average person. So I feel like it's a bit of a waste of time to be so basic about it and explain every minute detail of the way these games work. Am I wrong, Steve? Or because it feels like it was just a little too okay.
Yeah. They don't like using other games to describe their game, even though it's a common term, because, Metroidvania is a term that exists. So they will do that thing. But I'm glad you admitted there were roguelike elements, because that means Kevin has to make a payout to me on the next Place Your Bet segment.
They did not say it. I think that you're going by a very, this is...
I'm taking this to court. I'm standing in Steve's corner.
And you know who else is willing to take this to court? The 3DO experience is considering our most recent episode where Putt Putt goes to the moon, a notarized document where Splatoon Raiders has roguelike or roguelite elements, and Kevin has to pay that shit out in the next episode. You are fucked, sir.
He's gonna pay it in installments.
But I mean, yeah,
you are correct. I'm just gonna be a dick and sass about it regardless. It's fine.
But yes, that's what we observed in so many words. We're gonna go down the holes in our mobile craft and hope we find parts, and if we fail, some of our stuff gets carried back as we take another whack at it.
Yeah, and I can't wait. I've been waiting for a game like this. I don't know. I've been hungry for something like this. I actually reinstalled Remnant 2 a couple months ago just because I wanted that taste. I played the shit out of it when it came out, obviously. I talked about it on the show, but I just really wanted that, man, I want to roam around in a random kind of world for a little bit and shoot stuff. And it seems like this game is going to let me do that. The graphics don't seem a whole lot upgraded over Splatoon 3, so maybe 120 FPS. I'm hoping. I'm really, really hoping.
What could you have upgraded over Splatoon 3? Just because I feel like it's very the aesthetic is very locked into the art direction. I have a hard time imagining taking Splatoon 3 and fucking fleshing it out and making it look significantly richer. Don't get me wrong, the locations in this look great, and it's very I really like how this is a midsummer release because it's got a very summer vibe to it to me.
Yeah.
But I don't know, just in terms of technically increasing graphics, I don't know what they could have done with that art style.
I don't know either, honestly. Maybe we'll see when there's like a Splatoon 4, but like I think this is the move. They should just reuse Splatoon 3's assets to do something like this. This is something I call for a million times on this show, right? So I'm glad they're doing it, Steve.
Yeah, honestly, I was expecting this after Side Order was kind of leaning into this sort of gameplay structure. And not at the risk of having you all jump down my throat again, I'm hoping there's some teeth if I turn on the hard mode. Just because, I want this to push back at me a bit. I feel like games haven't been doing that a lot for me lately.
Yeah. And I was kind of surprised to see that there was multiplayer, because up to this point, they were just showing it as like, here's a new single player Splatoon experience. But now at the end of this thing, it's at a single player focused Splatoon experience, right? So like, yeah, you can do the dungeon crawling with your friends, which is something I think we should definitely try when this comes out.
A feature I liked that they showed off was being able to help and call for help in turn in certain areas if you're having a hard time. I feel like that keeps it in touch with, Splatoon's roots of being a community-based multiplayer game while still being a predominantly single-player experience, which this is trying to be, because yes, we're playing with other people, but, we're still trying to accomplish the single-player goal. We're not, going into the arenas and splatting all the things and each other's.
I was surprised at that too, just because I thought that, and I think it's great. I'm glad they're doing that. I would have thought that maybe they would have felt like by including multiplayer in this, it kind of like muddies the water of the mission statement of what it's trying to do. But I'm glad they didn't.
Yeah, I think they understand. They're very good about the messaging here, and they've saved it for the end. Like, hey, you can also play with your friends if you want to and go towards this goal. But I think they're trying to differentiate. They don't want to say play single or multiplayer because that just sounds like Splatoon 4, right? That they don't want to do that. They're trying to say, hey, this is something different. So I thought it was really funny that they went over all the same like kind of boss salmonids we're used to from Salmon Run, but with a new few ones. Did you guys see Thick Cut Salty Tongue? That made me laugh. Thick Cut Salty Tongue.
I only watched this the other night, which means I do not have enough time to come up with the really clever thing that I could probably say about salted enemies. I was really hoping I'd come up with something before, but now we're here. Nope. Sorry.
Yeah. Okay. Well,
you know what this was missing?
What?
They should have had a cameo from the guy who showed Splatoon 2 at the original Switch presentation.
No, that shit is so fucking cringe.
Bring him back.
Andre, we are still in the Splatoon research, the Squid research lab, okay?
Yes.
This is never going away.
Okay, fine, but like I don't want to see him. Didn't he try to do the 3 as well at some point? The 3 pose? Yep. Yeah.
He could have did an R for Raiders.
I guess so. What's he going to do for 4? Well, 4 is easier, I think.
4 is easy.
Yeah, because it's not curved. Yeah, 4 is like, you can kind of just do that.
Yeah, you hurt your spine a bit, but it's not impossible.
He's getting older, so he can do the 4 now.
The way he came out on the stage with the splat duel, he's so fucking... Do you like how when he left the stage, he like pointed at everybody like, I'm covering... So fucking stupid. I know we kind of made fun of that during our commentary track, but yeah. This video did its job. I'm very much looking forward to this. Oh, did you guys see? No more NBA Jam. You don't have to shoot the grenades into the baskets anymore. You can just like shoot him.
Oh, really?
Yeah, you can just like shoot him. You don't have to play NBA Jam anymore. I don't know how you feel about that.
Yeah, I don't know how I feel about that either. Maybe
I feel like with the chaos of what's going on and like in this shit, I think the reason why I think they did that is probably because they're probably you could probably still have regular grenades or whatever as like a sub weapon, but probably you don't have to have grenades anymore.
Right.
So like if grenades are not mandatory, then you can't really have NBA Jam.
No. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's just kind of my thinking anyway. But yeah, looks great. You guys got anything else on Splatoon Raiders?
I've been asked this on and off several different private thing, so I'll just say it here. Yes, I do have the amiibo pre-ordered, and I wish I knew why everyone keeps asking me that.
Because, I mean,
bastard.
come on. You know exactly why everyone's asking you that. People know what you're about.
Okay, but I didn't think it was that interesting to... anyway.
Come on. You're the... Look, if people just... Look, I'm sorry. I hope you don't take this the wrong way. People just saw the three of us. I feel like people would know you're the amiibo man. Like if someone... Okay, pick the amiibo guy out of this lineup of three. I mean, let's be real.
You can't tell because we're not video, but I am pointing at Kevin.
Okay, I don't know. He doesn't look as amiibo-y.
I don't look
as you.
as amiibo-y.
Yeah, not as amiibo-y. I feel like you have some amiibo like me, right? But he's definitely into amiibo.
I do. I have some amiibo.
We have a few big questions here because a lot of stuff happened. A lot of which we're not going to talk about right now. Maybe we will next show, but. We wanted a break from the Microsoft menagerie. We just don't even want to right now. So let's talk about other stupid things in the industry, shall we? So, Steam Machine, aka the Gabe Cube, is out now for the cool price of $1,049 for the 512 gig model and $1,349 for the 2 gigs. Man, we figured this would come inexpensive because of the way things are going right now globally. But guys, this is ridiculous, especially when you consider this thing is benchmarking out by all accounts what is essentially the power of an RTX 3060. Steve, you and me have laptops that are better than that for about the same price. So simply put, this just isn't good enough. So I guess my question is, let's start with Kevin. Do you think they should have even released this at all, considering this current hellscape of a market that we're in? Like, could this possibly appeal to anybody at this price? Could you even think of a type of consumer who would buy this?
Yeah, no, I think they should have pulled back on this. And I think they're I feel as if they are feeling overconfident on the hardware side of things after Steam Deck, because people like the Steam Deck. You know, it's not everybody has a Steam Deck, but it's got, you know, notoriety in its place in the market. You know, and I think people like the Steam Deck because it was cool hardware that like captured a market that was ready for a device like that at that price point. Like, I don't think people bought the Steam Deck because they have this unconditional love for Steam. Even comparing them to like somebody like Nintendo, I think, you know, there's obviously like, you know, there is some consumer dedication towards Steam, but I don't think it's a thing where like they're going to buy it because it's got the Steam logo on it. I don't think they're going to buy it because it's in like a cube and people find that an interesting form factor. I don't think the Steam machine has the same appeal. I guess we'll see. I'm not saying it's not going to sell anything, but I feel like if that was going to, you know, like make an impact in the market, it needed to be because it was like, you know, and I don't know that I even think like it, okay, being at the power level of an RTX 3060, you know, fine, just not at that fucking price point. This should be a thing where it's like easy for people to want to get in. You know, this should be a thing that is easy for console players who are interested in PC gaming to have like a cost-effective way to try that out. That's fairly like consumer friendly, and this is very much not it. I mean, even the fact that just going from the 512 to the 2 terabyte is $300 fucking difference.
Yeah,
you know, that makes me like pretty sick just to, you know, think about how much of that price in the like base model is just going to storage. Like people, I don't know. They should have fucking waited. They should have said, you know, hey, we've got these plans. We're going to try this in 2 years when it maybe makes more market sense.
Steve?
I don't know. The market might not even take it in 2 years, but on the other hand, Steam's kind of lost it a bit, I think. They got this hardware and accessories thing that's mostly appealing to scalpers at the moment. They put the controllers out like a few months back, and it was mostly scalped up and put on eBay right away.
Can I please be honest? I think those controllers look like shit. Am I the only one who feels that way? I don't think they look good.
I agree or disagree with you if I actually held one, but, you know, we don't have stores anymore where I could do that. Anyway.
They look like shit.
They do look like shit.
No, they don't look great. And look, I'll agree with everybody. I invested in my Legion Go because, hey guys, when you run things on your computer, you could save a lot of fucking money on games versus getting them on consoles. But, based on what we've seen with the price increases, this presumably non-customizable GameCube is definitely not it for the price. If anything, it's, a harbinger for worse things to come, and we'll definitely get into worse things to come in a little while.
It sucks. I feel like they feel like they couldn't wait, though. I feel like they probably would have thought it would be a bad look if they announced this thing and be like, oh, never mind, because the market's fucked up, which is probably the right thing to do. But maybe from like a PR perspective, they probably would have thought like, well, we can't even release a GameCube anymore because of the way things are going. I don't know. Who knows what's going on with the big brass up there. But I think it's important to remember that the Steam Deck, it's like a big deal to us enthusiasts, like capital G gamers, but that thing has only sold like 5 million units, the Steam Deck. And that's not like a whole hell of a lot. Like, it's good for what it is. And I'm sure that's like more than enough to be successful or whatever, because they don't have to rely on some sort of like, people need this system to sell our exclusive games to. It's not like a typical console, right? Or handheld. It's like you can play Steam on this thing. So I guess it's good that you're getting that many more people into the Steam ecosystem. But I've talked to plenty of people who play video games who have no idea what a Steam Deck is. Like, I had to show them. Like, when I bring it to work, it's like, hey, have you ever seen this thing? And they're like amazed by it. So I like people who really do play video games, maybe not as much as us, but like, people who might have a PS5 or a Series X or something. So if something like Steam Deck has like a hard time getting like mind share with like the common person, I don't know how a Steam machine, a GameCube is really gonna do it, especially at these prices. It's really not going to be considered. And that's why I said at the top, like, can you possibly think of a type of consumer this could be sold to? And the only one I can think of is like maybe the type of person who bought like a 3DO back in the day, or just like, oh, here's a big expensive thing on the shelf at, Circuit City. This looks cool. Like someone who doesn't really know about this shit, right? Maybe that person. But does that person exist anymore? I don't know.
I don't think they do, because the store doesn't really exist. I know you all keep jumping on my throat for that. Like, this is all. I don't think it is, because I think a good chunk of selling a lot of this stuff is being able to walk into a store and seeing what it is. Like, it took a while, but Steam Decks did eventually end up and other handheld computers did end up in Best Buy. And I think they do okay in there. Not amazing, but visibility to people walking by. Oh, what the hell is this? That makes a lot of difference to the not us get people.
I agree. Mm-hmm. No, I don't disagree with that. I'm not sure where you got the idea that I did.
Because we've been at odds with each other for all night. I'm on the defensive.
Okay.
I'm not. Andre hits me and I slip when I sleep, you guys.
Oh, yes, when you sleep. Yes. Is he sleeping? Yes, I'm going to beat him unmercifully with the spiked bat. You're very resilient, by the way. The spiked bat didn't do a whole lot of damage to you.
Look, I've seen a lot on these streets, Andre,
So it's just, I don't know, like just the person who has too much money and just sees the most expensive thing at the store and be like, that's got to be the best thing, right? Like maybe that person. Again, though, I don't know if that person still exists. So
I think the bottom line, I have a very hard time imagining a year from now us having a conversation and the Steam machine ever coming up. You know what I mean? I don't think it's going to be part of like, our group's radar or people like us.
Okay, guys, let's talk about it. Everyone's talking about it. It's been the talk of the town for, a week and a half now. Sony announced that they're shutting down printing physical games starting in January 2028. Not just their own games, all games. No more PlayStation games whatsoever on a disc. I don't think I have to frame this in the form of a question. I think we can just talk about this. And either of you want to start, go ahead.
So there was a lot of unfavorable Sony news this week, and I think my opinion goes beyond, oh, Steve's an old man that likes to buy physical games and look at them on his shelf and sort through them while he decides what he wants to play next. But this was also news that came just days after Sony also decided to take away hundreds of digital movies away from people with no warning or re-download options and definitely no refund capabilities. And also they said they're going to close the PS3 and Vita shop, and no one cares about that, I promise.
No. Well, remember, they tried to do that in like 2019. Everyone complained, so they kept it open for another 6-7 years now?
Yeah, but it's like a lot of bad news on top of bad news, and I don't know. It's just, even with Microsoft pretending to try and turn it around with, oh, here's an exclusive maybe, Sony doesn't care. And we're very much staring down what Kevin's been warning us about the whole time would be arrogant Sony. They're going to come out in a year or two in 2028 and say, here's the PlayStation 6. It costs $1,200. It has fuck all in terms of exclusives. And it's digital only, so we can take away whatever we want whenever the hell we want. Also, we're hiking up the price of Royale with cheese, because what are you going to do? Play somewhere else? And from where I'm sitting, yeah, I'm going to run my PS5 into the ground and call it, because this wasn't really where most of my time was spent in the first place, because fuck them.
Yeah, this is so I think everyone knows I've been a digital game buyer for like over a decade now. The last time I really bought a whole bunch of physical games was like the first year of Switch, before I really had like a big micro SD card, like, so I'd like a lot of those first year and a half, like Splatoon 2, Mario Odyssey, Breath of the Wild. I have all those on cartridge, but like after that, when I got the big card, I'm like, fuck it, I don't need that anymore. So I've been doing this for a long time with no problem. And even I think not making physical games anymore is a terrible idea. Terrible. Steve, we were just talking about at the store and seeing stuff, not having a presence at the store, first of all. Just having no Sony shelf. Like, here are a couple of PlayStation 6s in a little box here in the electronics part at Walmart. Like, the Nintendo stuff is still going to be huge because they're still going to have cartridges for Switch 2. Who knows what Microsoft is doing? And if they're even going to still be in Walmart at this point. And so it's just going to be like Nintendo's just going to take over by doing... Luigi wins by doing absolutely nothing.
Okay, I know I'm going to sound biased, but if I was a dum-dum and I'm like, man, I have money to spend on video games, I'm going to look at the Nintendo thing, see, wow, this thing, Nintendo Switch 2 has games, as opposed to looking at PlayStation 6 and be like, oh, it's a box. They don't seem to have games today. So maybe I'll just get this Switch 2 thing and some games.
That's also the thing, right? Like, because when you see I don't know if Steam machines are in stores. I have no idea. But let's suppose they are at Best Buy or whatever. How do you sell that? Because someone's going to see that and be like, oh, what games can I play on this? And then the clerk is going to say, well, you can play anything on Steam. Right? But there's no visual representation of that.
I'll tell you right now, I've seen all of them sitting at Best Buy, and it's pretty much, man, look at this thing. It's a computer, and it can play everything on Steam. Well, what the fuck is Steam? We know what Steam is. You got to tell Grandma what Steam is, somehow.
I don't know how you do that. I don't know how you tell her the...
Steam lives in your computer.
Yeah, I don't know how you say to Grandma, hey, you can play computer games on this box. Well, then why can't I just play them on my computer? Well, you can, but this is shaped like a cube. Like, what do you even do? What do you do? By the way, okay, so you seen the Steam machine at Best Buy? You saw it on the shelf?
I mean, I've seen the display. I guess they were all locked up, but yeah, you can buy Steam machines at Best Buy. Because
I was wondering if it comes in an actual cube-shaped box. Or not.
Oh, I don't know. I don't know what the GameCube does. I just know that.
Yeah, that's what I mean. I wonder if it comes in like a square box. I think that would be fun. Anyway, Yeah, I'm a digital game buyer, but I'm not fucking stupid. I understand that the entire reason that digital marketplace works is because of physical games. On consoles anyway, because we know the reasons why PC went digital like 20 years ago, and and still has competitive prices because it's an open platform. This is not going to be an open platform. So when there's no competition, what's going to happen? And I do not trust Sony at all. How can I possibly? Like, why should I? So Sony digital only platform, that's not going to work, Kevin. I'm not buying it. Literally, I'm not buying it. I will not buy a PS6 if it's digital only.
Yeah. I'm having a hard time even thinking about this in like, what's going to work and what's not. I feel I've been legitimately emotional about this news, actually. And we were just talking last show. I said, yeah, certainly not as long as you, but for a few years, I've been very primarily digital. Again, same as you, I'll grab, physical versions of things if they're on sale on Amazon or whatever. But generally, even for like the big Nintendo stuff, it's just easier to just download it, have it on there day one, can play it at midnight if when I'm rarely awake at midnight, but I have the option.
When you have a wild hair up your ass.
Yeah, exactly.
9 p.m. Pacific, baby.
Regardless, I would always, I would never, okay, so PS6 came out and they had, digital and physical, and I was interested, like one with a disc drive in it. And I was interested enough to be buying that. I would absolutely spend the extra money to get the version with the disc drive. And I remember when I like kind of realized, okay, I'm going to go, more towards like buying new things digitally. I realized because always my thought was like, well, I need to have like all of these games at my house because someday I might want to play them again. And I was like, really, for the amount of games that's going to actually happen for 20 years down the road, if I get a wild hair up my ass and I decide I want to play Knack, I don't need to have that. I can just go fucking get Knack. I don't need every single game I want to play here. I'll just go get a used copy if I really want to play something. I'm paying for it twice. Not all games are going to do that. Some games are already digital only. Some of those games might be prohibitively expensive to get used copies down the road. But if for whatever reason, the stores are down, I can't get them, I have that option. And that's fucking gone. Like this entirely kills that option. And it does make, just as far as preservation is not the right word, but I do want to have the ability to play these games in 20 years if I want to. That's important to me. And I do feel emotional about this. I've been voicing this for a while. My feelings towards PlayStation have been steadily trending downwards for the last couple of years, and this has like really killed it. Unless they like really show they fucked up and turn things around, I think I'm entirely out on PlayStation 6. And that sucks because I'm not interested in giving Xbox more money either. Right. But I do like the idea of having like, I'd feel ready for like next gen powerful shit. Like I'm in a place where I want that. And I don't want to go spend fucking $4,000 on a super high end computer. That's not what I'm interested in either.
Are we just going to have to make do with playing Xbox games on our PCs as currently constructed? I don't know. I guess, but like, I
think I'm like going towards being like pretty much all a Nintendo boy in the coming years. Like I can see that future, and that doesn't make me like super happy.
Yeah, and we are a Nintendo centric show. I mean, that's not the only thing we talk about, but like that's the thing that we share between us. That's the thing we care about the most. I would hate to do that, but like if we can't buy a PlayStation 6 because of this and Xbox LOL, right? Like what other choice do we have? This is almost like 10 years ago where really the only option was PS4. Everything else was like Xbone, whatever, Wii U, LOL. So it's just kind of like you have a PS4 or get fucked, really. That's kind of what it feels like coming up here. You have a Switch 2 or that's it.
I don't know. Yeah, that's what well, your comparison aside, I'm just sitting here being like, yeah, Switch 2, PC, Legion Go, and the occasional PS5 until that craps out. I mean, that'll be fine.
I've said this before when they did the first price hike. I'm not replacing this PS5. If my PS5 dies, I'm not replacing it. I'm not paying whatever they're asking right now for a PS5. I'll do without. I'm not doing it. I'll change my Marvel Rivals account over to PC and just play on PC. That's like the only ongoing thing I would care about to get off of there. That's it.
It is interesting, like, looking at this from the perspective of Nintendo, actually. You know, we kind of talk about how, like, obviously they, like, this is a kind of a three-way race, but Nintendo is always thought of differently. But with the bad press with Sony and Microsoft lately, like, I do think this is a legitimately very good thing for Nintendo, and this will move the needle for them in the coming years a lot.
It will. It 100% will. That's kind of the problem with this, right? Sony right now doesn't see all the problems that we do, whether it's like the mind share because you're not on store shelves anymore with like a section and like all the stuff that comes along with doing away with physical games. It takes years for those things to take effect. And then once you lose people, it's so fucking hard to get them back. Ask Xbox about it, right? So by the time they care about this, it's going to be too late.
How can they not fucking see it, though? Like, these are like pretty simple concepts.
I would like to. Well, Steve, I had that skeet the other day where I was thinking about like the live service stuff. I said months before it came out, everyone knew Concord was dead in the water. Everybody knew it. Everyone knew High Guard was going to flop. Everyone knew Foam Stars was going to flop. Everyone knows. So why don't they know, Steve? How come we know they're the only ones who don't know it?
I think maybe someone in there does know it. This is like the corporate version of playing the lottery. You're like, you're making this shit and hoping this is your ticket to easy money. I don't know. I do know that I've been seeing Xboxes disappear from a lot of shelves, and it's like that might as well not exist out here either.
Yeah. And it's, again, once you lose that space, it's tough to get it back. Like it, and you know what? Okay, let's say the PS6 were reasonably priced. By the way, remember a couple months ago when I asked you guys kind of a random off the cuff question? Like, let's say the PS6 is $1,000. Like, what would happen? What kind of games would they have to show you? What kind of hardware could they show you? Is there anything they could do for you to get you to spend that much on a console? And you guys were like, nah, not really. And I kind of came to the same conclusion. That feels fucking quaint now, doesn't it? Considering what we're talking about. Right? Like, I was just like, and so here's the thing. Let's say it does come out. It's digital only as they're purporting. The PS6 comes out for like $1,200. I don't think there's a single thing they could do because they just don't have the juice and they haven't had it for years. Okay, let's say this thing comes out and it's like, oh, you can play Horizon 3 or something. I'm not spending that much money to play Horizon 3. So, like, what are they going to do? I don't care if they have Gran Turismo 8 at like 8K at 240 frames a second. Like, there's nothing they could do to get me to spend that much money with no competition. And the games are going to probably be like $80 at that point. I'm not doing it.
And it just feels gross at this point. Like it does.
Yeah. So yeah, this just bodes so badly for them. And I think, you know what? I just had a thought. Do you think third parties could revolt? Do you think they could say to Sony, we're not making games for this console if that's what you're going to do? And then Sony could back off? Do you think there's a world where that happens?
Where do they go?
Just to Xbox or Switch
Xbox
too.
and Nintendo. Or just Nintendo if Microsoft keeps fucking up. Imagine that shit.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't think Microsoft is an appealing option like right now.
It's more appealing than this, and I hate to say that. I mean,
Jesus,
it's like where we're at.
That's a fucking statement in itself. Like,
yeah, I'm more interested in the new Xbox than I am a PS6. I never thought I'd say that.
I'm not especially interested in the next Xbox, but I mean, could you imagine if all these third parties looked at everything and said, fuck it, we're going to just move 95% of our output to Nintendo Switch 2?
And it's going to have to look how it does. And you know what I mean?
I mean, this isn't the first time this happened either. Remember PlayStation 1 when that happened?
Yeah. So It's possible. So I think, okay, I guess what I'm trying to say is I do think there's a world where Sony reverses this. I'm not saying it's going to happen. I'm just saying that, like, if they went back on this and said, just kidding, we're not doing away with physical games, PS6 will have a, a dick slot.
I am sure there are liaisons, for lack of a better term, like already in their ears going, what the hell are you guys doing?
Yeah.
Because you gotta.
Yeah. I think it's on the table too, but I also wonder, even like relationships with big retailers at this point, like that's got to do a lot of damage just jumping out and saying that, because I also don't think there's any fucking incentive for Walmart to carry PlayStation 6 consoles if they're not selling the games. I think they're going to say fucking pack your bags and sell it on your website. And I think that, like, if they want to backtrack on this decision as well, it's not just like a consumer relation thing. It's like, I think they have to take into consideration their relationships with retailers at the same time.
Yeah.
They could always sell codes in a case, but then that's like already most of what you're doing anyway.
Yeah.
Just print the damn discs.
That's the thing, right? I don't know what they think they're saving by doing this. Like, I don't know why they feel this is necessary. That it just doesn't make any sense to me. Have a goddamn disc slot, or even just say, okay, just dick everyone over by saying, okay, PS6, you have to buy the fucking external like disc thing. Yeah, people are gonna bitch, but at least there's an option, right? Like, I don't understand. I don't know how this benefits them in any way. That's the thing that's puzzling.
How much do you guys think this has, like, the ghost of Jim Ryan, like, floating behind this decision?
I don't think much.
No? You think this wasn't, like, just inevitable, if this isn't just, like, aftershocks of, like, where that ship was getting steered to some degree?
No, I think this is current management thinking, like, just looking at the numbers. Well, this percentage of our sales is digital, so why don't we just save a few pennies by doing it? I think it's just as simple as that, Kevin.
See, I think still, like, I'm sure that, like, saving on production costs is in there, but I do think, like, secondhand games plays a huge factor, and I think secondhand games plays much more of a factor than it does, like, the production cost to, like, print discs and cases.
Yeah, you're probably right.
And I don't know. They keep talking about AI too. Maybe that's part of this whole. Maybe the AI told them, like, "Hey, get rid of the disc slot. Also, use me to make your games."
Yeah, they probably use me, Quad, to make your games.
Look at me. It's Kratos, the god of war.
Oh my god.
All right, good news for once. Well, good news adjacent anyway. On July 2nd, a game called Metroid Ravenous appeared on the website for Brazil's Ministry of Justice and Public Security's rating system. That's a mouthful. Before being taken down later in the afternoon. So from 10 to do we feel like this is real, and how do we feel about it?
I think these are always real, right? I think Korean ratings boards used to leak on a lot of Nintendo stuff. You remember? I think that's how we found out about Rhythm Heaven Groove. I could be wrong, but like, it's, it happens. And I hope the fact that this got rated means that it's happening sooner rather than later. Things can get rated a long time in advance, whether it's ESRB or MPAA or whatever. Like that's a thing. Like once something's done, you can just submit it and get out of the way. But I think since Metroid Prime 4 didn't have the reception they were hoping for, and rightfully so for being real, I think it's in their best interest to turn the page as soon as they can to like another Metroid game. And yes, I do think Metroid Prime 5 is still happening, despite everything. I still think that's like Prime sequel bait fast. But no, Metroid Ravenous, it could be the new Mercury Steam thing. Who knows?
I'm really back and forth on what this is. I'm really interested. And I'm not ruling out this being like 2D Metroid 6. But also, I'm not like ruling out this being something off the wall too. I don't know. I'm like, I don't think they're confident enough to try doing, like some weird side game with Metroid again. I don't know if I feel in my bones like they're ready for another mainline 2D game. I know Dread has been a few years at this point, but I don't know. It just like it didn't feel to me like it's I don't know. I don't know what to fucking think about this. It's very interesting.
I think, Steve, Dread is one of the last things we talked about in the previous creative endeavor, isn't it?
It is one of the last things we talked about on our previous creative endeavor without Kevin, unfortunately. So
yeah,
I think it's prime time for prime time for them to put out a Metroid 6 if they felt so inclined, because look, I think it'll be a good thing. Metroid Dread was way better than when anyone thought it was going to be.
Yep.
So if Mercury Steam's back on it, we should be in great hands, I think. And honestly, guys, I love the title too, if that's what they're going with here. Ravenous, because carnivores are ravenous, and we dealt with the raven-like Chozo finally.
I would love a whole game, despite your bad puns, I would love a whole game of where you just mainly fight Chozo statues come to life. That'd be so cool. Yeah. Or just Chozo stuff.
That would be cool.
We'll see. I mean, maybe they'll show it in the fall direct if we're still... I can't tell when they're doing a direct anymore.
Are you guys surprised, just while we're here, at the general reception of Metroid Prime 4? Like, how many people didn't like it? Because I kind of am.
Yeah, I don't know how many people are disliking it just for attention at this stage.
Oh, come on. There's a lot that I had a lot of bitching to do about that game that I gave an A-.
Yeah, but it's like, come on, guys. It's not that bad. There were a lot where... I still maintain that if it came out in a reasonable time frame, they would have sucked that game's cock a lot more.
I'm not so sure, Kevin.
I don't know if I'm that surprised, just because... like Prime 4 like really kind of like broke the mold of what the first three games were in a lot of ways. And we know that like, Metroid games already like, I feel struggle to find an audience more than they should. But then when you're kind of like taking what, people who have played 1, 2, or 3 of the first 3 games in the series and like subverting it to a degree that I can see how that like that, you're already having trouble bringing in new people, and now like potentially like turning away some of the existing ones. I don't know.
Yeah, it was kind of lose-lose for them to do that. I still like the game a lot, despite its kind of big flaws, honestly. That's how good I thought the good stuff was. So, yeah, I'm surprised. But again, I do think, but by the way, I don't think this is going to be a side game, Kevin. I do definitely think this is a 2D Metroid game. I don't think this is a Metroid Ravenous. It's going to be another pinball game or
after
something.
Federation Force. I don't think they can do a spin-off anytime soon.
That was just the wrong game at the wrong time.
If they announced Ravenous and then they also announced a spin-off game, I think we'd take it more okay, but not like that again.
That also, I think that was like more of the wrong game than even just the wrong time. Like that was really the wrong game.
I don't think it's a terrible game by any means. I don't think it's a bad game. It's just not. It's just not what they should have done. I'm not saying it's appropriate. It was inappropriate, but it was fine. That's basically my feeling on Federation Force.
I spent a couple hours with that game and I was like, that's fucking enough for me. And I was not like, oh, like, fuck this game, we should be getting new Metroid Prime or anything. Meh.
At that point in Nintendo history, though, that was just not it. Okay, we're almost out of here. You guys mind if we talk about P real quick? Because it's a very urinating is a very brought up topic on the show often. So do you mind?
I'm always ready to talk about P with you guys.
Okay.
We pissed on me enough already this show. Why not some more?
I had to seal up the wounds from the spiked bat. I mean, come on. So here's what's okay. Yeah, Kevin, I'll ask you first. Do you get up in the middle of the night to pee? Like often? Does this happen a lot to you? Or
I go through phases, and I think it's related to my diabetes a lot of time. Before I knew I had diabetes, I was pissing all the time. And I'll go through like months where I'm getting up like once and maybe twice in the middle of the night. But then,
Wow.
it's been like, I don't think I've got up in the middle of the night to piss for like probably like 4 months. But when it comes in blocks.
Okay, Steve.
Yeah, phases sounds right to me too, but I'm also usually just up in the middle of the night because I'm an anxious son of a bitch. So,
Well, not literally the nighttime, but just when you're sleeping, like, whenever you sleep. I don't sleep at night either, so middle of the night is kind of nebulous here. But
no, but I know, but it's like I don't wake up because I gotta pee. If that's
okay,
if that's the question, I don't piss to bed either. So don't quote me on that.
I mean, I wasn't going to get in your business. You can do whatever you want in your bed. I would say over the last few months, and now I've never really been one to wake up to go pee either. I mean, I'm not saying it's never happened, but I would have to really fucking be like so fucking bad. Like it like has to like hurts. Like I woke up, like I really have to pee. Over the last few months though, I have been like maybe at least once a week or sometimes twice a week have been waking up to pee. It is very, very strange to me. This has just never happened to me before. So it's not every night, but every once in a while I'll wake up at, I usually get up around noon, 12:30. I'll wake up at like 8 or 9 a.m. and I'm like, I really have to fucking pee right now. It's kind of, not concerning. I mean, I guess there's nothing wrong with it, but I'm just wondering, like, why is this happening all of a sudden?
Have you been drinking more liquids lately?
I don't feel like I have. I usually drink a lot of liquid anyway because I'm at work, I'm moving around, I'm like kind of active, right? So like I typically drink a lot at work, but I don't think I don't know, maybe I have. I have.
What are you drinking?
Water, typically, anything, soda at home, whatever I feel like, lemonade. I don't drink a particular thing at home. Iced tea.
I'm going to use this moment for a PSA for our listeners, because I don't think a lot of people do know this, but legitimately, when you start getting diabetes, like one of the first things is like insatiable thirst. Like where you're just like, fuck, I like, I'm like chugging water. I don't feel like I can, even like catch up with how thirsty I am, and it's significantly drinking more. Which obviously causes much more pissing. And so that's why I ask. So it doesn't sound like that's probably the case for you, but it's good for people to know if all of a sudden you're like drinking a shitload of water, go get your blood sugar checked.
Yeah, because I've heard of that. Yeah. So that's good advice. Yeah. Have you guys ever had a dream where you like really have to pee and you wake up and like you really have to pee? Like it manifests itself.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So it's not just me.
Well, I think that like having to pee causes the dream, right?
Right.
So,
yeah. Because that's what's going on.
It doesn't manifest the pee. It manifests the dream.
Yeah.
Okay. So
yeah,
I
exactly.
thought you were just
kind of like when I used to sleep with the radio on, like the songs on the radio would manifest in my dream, because that's that was the audio in the room. Yeah.
I don't remember most of my dreams, so I'm not one to ask. I only remember the really dumb shit, like, oh no, even though you're 39 years old, you have to go to high school for a day and you forgot to put on pants for some reason.
Dude, I used to, in 3rd and 4th grade, maybe like 2nd grade too, for like a solid like 2 or 3 school grades, I would have the dream where I get on the school bus and I get to school and I would be not always naked, but like in various states of undress. Sometimes I would just forget my socks and shoes. Other times I'd be in my tighty whities. Other times I'd be completely naked. Sometimes I just forget a shirt. It would happen to me at least twice a week. I'd have that dream so often.
For me, it was always pants. Like I'd remember I remember my underwear. I remember my shoes because I have bad feet, so of course I'm going to remember my shoes. But man, my pants, geez, that was just so difficult to do that in Steve's dreamland. Man, that's not what we're talking about. I'm sure there's a reason, but that's beyond the scope of this podcast.
Only pants. That's interesting. Yeah, mine would be whatever. It was weird.
I need to go back to your music thing just for a second, because I've got a story. When I was in my probably early 20s, I had a live album of AFI. And I fell asleep in the afternoon one time just while it was playing. And I had probably a 30 to 40 minute dream. And the entire dream was just of being at a concert. And like that's like there wasn't like other shit going on. It was just like a dream of being at a concert. And I still think about that periodically. It was super fucking cool, actually.
That is cool.
Especially because it was a live album. It wasn't just like an album.
I would get like weird imagery of like the song that's playing of almost like I'm in a music video or something. Like something that would fit whatever that is. That would happen a lot sometimes if the music was on. Wondering if, well, I don't know. I was going to say, I'm wondering if I should tell my one famous pee dream, but I mean, I guess this is the time to tell it. I don't know if I, you know what? I might as well. Okay. This will end the show. Not forever, just this episode. Okay. So this would be like 2001, very late 2001. I was at my friend's house. And he had just gotten the Xbox for Christmas. So I was over there playing Halo and, you know, whatever else he had, Splinter Cell, whatever. And I brought over the GameCube and we were taking looks at Pikmin and Luigi's Mansion and playing, you know, Wave Race. I didn't have Smash Melee at this time. I know it was out, but I didn't get that until January. So I didn't have that yet. So we weren't playing that. But anyway, a good old 2001 time was being had by all. I was about 19 years old at this time. So he falls asleep. I'm still playing Pikmin, and I'm getting sleepy too. By the way, the TV he had was like one of those huge 70s TVs where it's like an entire like speakers and like entertainment center. It's like fucking huge box. It's like super duper heavy. You don't even know how you get it from room to room when you have to move or something like that. It was huge. This screen was beautiful. Again, this was 2001, and this TV that was at this point 30 years old was just incredible. Anyway, I'm falling asleep. I'm playing Pikmin. I really have to pee. I have to pee so bad it hurts, right? And I did the thing where I'm like, I'll just lay here for a couple more minutes because I'm so tired, and then I'll get up and pee. Guess what? I fell asleep. And I promptly had a dream where I was in the bathroom. I don't remember where I was, but I was at a urinal. I really have to pee, so I'm going to go pee. I have 2 dicks. I had 2
All right.
dicks.
Inside Andre is 2 dicks.
And I was like, what the fuck do I do now? Do I pee out of one of them? Do I pee out of both of them? There's just like one side for pee, one side for sexy time. Like, I have no idea what's going on.
You got 2 hands, Andre. Figure it out.
I couldn't.
2 dicks worth of pee.
Yeah. So I'm standing there struggling to figure out like how to do this. Obviously, my body in real life is like, don't fucking pee while you're sleeping, idiot. So I'm like trying to like pee in my dream. So I really have to pee. But eventually I figure it out. Some little dribble of one comes out and then like a good stream comes out of the other. So I'm like, okay, I'm finally peeing. Something's happening. I wake up, and then of course I'm peeing in real life. But I don't think I was peeing very long. I think it was just for like a few seconds because I wasn't like soaked. I wasn't like, you know, the floor wasn't wet or something. I was just like, I think I just peed like just a tiny bit. I was like, oh shit. So I woke up, I ran to his bathroom. He was sleeping. He obviously has no idea what's going on. So I went and peed. I checked myself. I'm like, okay, it's just like a spot. It wasn't like really that much pee.
Sorry, I'm not trying to interject, but when you got to the bathroom, were you concerned? Like, were you sleepy enough that you were wondering if you would pull out 2 dicks?
No. I was fully awake at that point. So like, yeah, I fell asleep having to pee so bad where like I had a dream about peeing and I peed just like a little bit. But yeah, the point of the dream is that I had 2 dicks. I never had a dream like that again.
Great dream. 10 out of 10.
Yeah.
What
Except
dream
for
again?
the part that I peed like a little IRL, but you know, wasn't
Well, that's not part of the dream.
I guess not, but
there's no time that would have been better to share this story than this conversation.
Yeah, I don't know when else I would have said that. So okay, yeah, I guess that ends the show, everybody. We'll see you in a couple weeks for another big deal. Check the description of this podcast to find our names on social media, and we'll see you next time. Bye.